Hi, welcome back to part 11 of Losing the Boomer Blues. I might just have to borrow those shades from you, Mary. I love going back in time, too. That's why I drive along the coast every chance I get. My wife loved the ocean. We spent a lot of time in Mendocino together as well. I released Patty's ashes along the shoreline at Stinson Beach. I enjoy my memories of the past. It took me a long time to come to that conclusion, but I found that life is for the living. Memories keep our loved ones with us in spirit. Life does go on. You're on your way too, Mary. We have a lot in common. You just have to share those shades with me. I'm super curious about their magic. Mary tucked her sunglasses back into her pocket and responded, "Sure thing, Joe." So Monday morning, how about I pick you up at 7 o'clock? We can have breakfast at the Silrock Cafe and then start out on our journey along the coast to Mendocino. The ocean views should blow us away. Mary smiled and said, "That sounds fantastic. All right then, write down your address for me, and I'll be there bright and early. Don't eat anything, the Silrock has great omelets." Joe and Mary joined Barry and Joni in the sunroom. Over burgers and beer, they shared stories about the old days and their fondest memories of growing up in the 60s. As the sun came through the sliding glass doors into the sunroom, Mary decided to put her shades on. Her sunglasses were the main attraction of the day. She explained to Barry and Joni how much she was inspired to revisit the past every time she put them on. She encouraged them to try them on and see if they experienced some of the same emotions she did. Joni put them on first, and then Barry tried them on. They shared random memories of their high school dances and senior prom. Joni remarked, "Barry and I were always late for class. Once we were kissing near our lockers while the bell was ringing, and guess what? The principal caught us, and we ended up in detention." Barry turned to Joni and asked, "You had that flashback too? I can't believe it. We're on the same wavelength." "Yes, dear. Great minds. I realized long ago that we can read each other's minds. It's just I never dreamed I'd be experiencing it by putting on a pair of vintage shades. Funny, my reading glasses never do this to me. Cool sunglasses." Barry rose from his seat and handed Mary her sunglasses. He was a husky man, over 6 feet tall, and his black-framed glasses made him look distinguished. His curly gray hair was a tad bit bushy, and he looked like he could use a shave. But then, that was his style. Although he appeared rough and rugged, he was a gentle giant. Mary wanted Joe to try on the shades too, but he wanted to wait until they were alone together in Mendocino. She put them back on and said, "I'm wearing them to block out the sun on my way home. But there's always a chance I'll relive something wonderful from my past." She turned to Joe and asked, "Are you sure you don't want to try 'em on?" Joe assured Mary that he wanted to wait. "I don't want to spoil the fun. Let's wait until we're alone together. Besides, Monday should be a beautiful sunny day, and I'll have plenty of opportunities to slip 'em on." "We should have a lot of fun on Monday. I can't wait." Mary hugged Joni and said, "It was so much fun being here today. I'm glad we got together." Joni replied, "I'll be in touch with you regarding the reunion." As Mary approached the front door, Joe hurried past her to open it. She looked up at him and remarked, "A true gentleman," and smiled as she left. Joe stood in the doorway watching her as she got into her car and waved goodbye. He waved back and was grinning from ear to ear as he entered the house and closed the front door. Mary and Joe drive up the coast to Mendocino. Mary woke bright and early on Monday morning, beating her alarm. She had tossed and turned all night in anticipation of her road trip with Joe. She had worried that she might oversleep, since she never woke up this early. It took some effort finally getting out of bed, but once she was up, she became energized with the thoughts about what the day held for her and Joe. Joe picked her up at 7 o'clock sharp in his sports car. They enjoyed a great breakfast at Sil Rock Cafe, and after that they hit the road, headed for Mendocino. The drive was just as pleasant as they both had anticipated. When the sun was shining brightly, Mary kept her promise to Joe and put on her special sunglasses. She sat back in the car seat and said joyfully, "Nothing can bring me down today, absolutely nothing." She looked out at the ocean and pointed to the beautiful scenery all around them. Joe smiled and replied, "I told you you'd love this trip. There's mountains and trees everywhere you look. The sun is warm and bright, and it's just 9 in the morning. We couldn't ask for anything better than this." After an hour or so of driving along the winding road, in a low voice, Mary said, "I feel a little dizzy." "Oh no, hang in there. Do you want me to pull over?" "No. We can stop and rest for a while when we reach the beach. The winding roads do this to me every time." Joe was relieved when he saw the Stinson Beach sign. He eased up on the gas going around the curve and said, "Hold on, Mary. We're almost there. I'm sorry, I tend to drive this sports car a little too fast. I'll slow down. Maybe that'll help." Within minutes, he pulled into the parking lot at Stinson Beach. Feeling less queasy, Mary said, "Just knowing we're here makes me feel better. Do you still want to rest a little in the car?" "Yes, let's rest a bit, and then we'll walk along the beach and get some fresh ocean air. I thought I wasn't going to make it. One more turn and I would have been a goner." "We still have a long drive to Mendocino. Do you think you'll be okay?" "I think I'll be fine, as long as we take it slow and easy around the turns. Look, Mary, there's a picnic table over there. Do you want to get out and sit in the sun?" "Yeah, let's go." They walked hand in hand in the sand until they reached the old weather picnic table. Joe helped Mary step over the bench to sit, and then he sat next to her. They both gazed at the ocean in awe. Joe looked at Mary and said, "Are you feeling better?" "Yes, I feel much better now." She handed him her sunglasses and asked, "Are you ready to take a trip back in time?" Joe took them from her, put them on, and said, "I'm ready, Mary. I've been curious ever since Joni and Barry tried them on." "Okay. Tell me what visions come back to you." It was June 1966, the last week of his senior year in high school. He saw Mary clearly in his mind. She was young and beautiful. He couldn't take his eyes off of her as she and George stood waiting for the 38 Geary bus. The scent of sandalwood and patchouli oil filled the air with a hint of marijuana. Mary wore a long geometric dress and had a daisy headband in her long black hair. George was smoking a doobie. Joe was bothered because he felt that smoking dope in public wasn't cool. Mary didn't seem to mind. She held his hand. When the bus arrived, George kissed Mary goodbye, and Joe and Mary got on board. Joe never spoke a word to Mary. He wanted so badly to be George. He took his seat and watched George walk up the street, waving goodbye to Mary. She smiled lovingly back at George, throwing kisses. It was a drag knowing she was in love with George and that he would never win her heart. Joe was jolted back to the present when Mary asked, "What did you see?" "I'm keeping it to myself. Maybe I'll tell you someday, but not now." "Keep it private then. You don't need to tell me." "I don't know if it's the power of suggestion or not, but I think these sunglasses do take you back in time. Maybe since they're from the past, they inspire thoughts of the past. Somehow they force your mind to see what you need to see in order to understand how the past leads up to the present. It's uncanny, Mary." Joe and Mary spent an hour strolling the beach, and after that they continued on to Mendocino. And we'll pick up the next time we meet with part 12.